some of this pertains to today, some of this pertains to other things. First of all, if you do not know, meet at First Christian Reformed Church at 7:15 tonight. And then they will line you up, march you down the aisle 2 by 2. Anything else in that order, Miss Cynthia, you can think of?
They're going to practice right after they're done here.
Yes. Good question, Jerry. But yes,
You can also explain to them not to put an iron directly on.
yep, we got all that done. All right. When it comes to the processional, recessional, and so on like that, whether we're indoors or we're outdoors, many of these things are applicable. Please. Yes, I will, yeah. I'm busy talking. This one, I'll sit down. In the case of you three, if we're indoors here, why don't you just kind of look right behind us? If it's outdoors, go down the other stairs and come around the back again. Now, as Mr. Faison just Dale Andrews, Charles James Ashfall, that's why he's standing. Heather Dawn Merrick, Lisa Ann Ecker, Rebecca Jo Potter, Nancy Jane Feather, Lucas Charles Potter,
Thank you.
Brenda Jean Newber, Christy Lynn Foyster, Jim Soon Strowman, Kenneth Charles Strowman, Louis Williams Strowman, Matthew G. Sutton, Allison Marie Thatcher. Honorary graduates are exchange students Carolyn Marie Linday, France, Anita Baker, Switzerland, Juliana Mercado, Brazil, Susanna Hotel, Germany, Rika Suzuki, Japan, Hendrik Sver, Denmark.
may be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to the 114th service of graduation from Fremont High School. This service is designed to honor the graduates of the class of 1993. This class of 1993 is deserving of this honor, for in many ways they have contributed to the success of our school system and our community. Their success has brought pride to themselves, their families, our community, and our school system. For in this class, many talents abound. Talents in the area of academics, the arts, athletics, and citizenship. And to this, we pay tribute today. We ask that you join with us today in this manner of respect and honor to make this a dignified service as we honor these graduates. I ask at the conclusion of this event you remain seated for the recessional. It is now my privilege to introduce the president of the class of 1993, Rebecca Haven. Becky.
As Mr. Malma said, I'm here to welcome all of you to the class of 1993, their graduation. But because our class is different, my welcome will be also. It all began 4 years ago. Welcome, the sign said, as we entered Fremont High School for the first time. We were freshmen, young and scared. A new 4 years was ahead of us, shining on the horizon, waiting for us to reach for it. 147 of us have not only reached the horizon, but we have climbed over all the obstacles that have stood in our paths. We have succeeded. There is now a new sign hanging on the horizon, which says welcome also, whether it be on to a future education or onto a career in a chosen field. As a class of 1993, we will succeed. So welcome, class of 1993, to your graduation. Welcome family, friends, teachers, school board members, and all those who have pushed us to excel. Welcome to the class of 1993, your graduation.
Thank you, Becky. It's now my privilege on behalf of Fremont Public Schools to introduce our speaker for this afternoon. Our speaker is Representative John Llewellyn, our representative to Lansing from the 100th District. More than that, Representative Llewellyn is a father of one of our graduates. Mr. Llewellyn, please.
Thank you, John, for that kind introduction. I'm really pleased to be here today, and as John said, I have a special interest in today's commencement ceremony because my son Evan is one of the graduates. Needless to say, my wife Becky and I are very proud of Evan, as you are all proud of your graduate. So I'm doubly pleased to be here both as a speaker and a parent of one of the honorees. After accepting the invitation to address you, I thought about my own high school commencement activities, and three things came to mind. First, I don't remember who the speaker was. That doesn't bode very well for me now, does it? Secondly, I can't recall anything of what the mystery person really ever said, except that it was probably too long. And there was something in it about the future. And I think my mind was concentrating on all those parties that were about ready to start. Thirdly, I can recall that I was very excited about leaving high school and beginning a very new stage of my own life. So, keeping with my recollections, I'll keep my address briefly as possible, knowing that you aren't going to remember it anyway. Firstly, I'd like to reflect a little on the people, the situations, and the events that helped influence, nurture, and shape the person you've developed into over the last 17 or 18 years. The skills you learned in high school will continue to learn in the next few years will hopefully allow you to earn a living. However, the kind of life you lead will depend on certain other qualities. It will depend on certain principles, values, and standards that you have acquired from your families, your churches, your community, your schools, and your experiences and observations of life. Principles that transcend the power of specialized skills. Unlike specialized knowledge, these principles will determine how you conduct your lives, and they will serve all of you your entire lives. They are the basis of how you will address some of life's truly important questions that have nothing to do with geography, physics, or textbooks. All of you should be asking yourself some very important fundamental questions. These are, what do you want out of life? What is important to you? Will you live for money? Will you live for material possessions? For fame? Or for accomplishments? Or for yourselves? Will you try to make the world a better place? Or will you accept the status quo and merely join into it? In short, how will you live? What will you live it for? The answer to these heavy-duty questions will change as you grow and mature, because none of us is the same person at 30 and 40 years old that we were at 18. You may not believe it now, but as a former 18-year-old, I know what I'm talking about. Your parents were once 18 years old. Scary thought, isn't it? How you answer these weighty matters is determined by your early influences. Your parents played a significant role in helping you to develop your ideas about life. Hopefully you will all realize this someday and perhaps even thank your parents. Believe me, it will mean a lot to them when you do. Parenting is one of the toughest jobs in the world. However, it also is the most important one. And it is a good thing we don't have to audition for that job, because most of us won't get it. It's a learn-as-you-go experience that few of us are born knowing what to do. But speaking on behalf of myself and my wife, probably every other parent here, we put our hearts, souls, and love into the job, and we get profound pleasure from today's ceremony. So graduates, please tolerate your parents' tears, hugs, and bragging. They've earned them, something all of you will understand when you become parents. Parents have an awesome job, because parenting has a ripple effect. What we impart to our children, how we love and guide them, has enormous lifelong ramifications, not only to their own lives, but also to the lives of all those people our children will touch. Just as you carry all the results of your parental love and guidance and take those ripples wherever you go, you also carry the results of your community's influence. Your community includes your friends, your neighbors, relatives, and elected officials, all of whom have had an effect upon your growing up. Your community contributed financially to your education. You spent time at community-sponsored activities and events and programming. Your childhood home, street, and community will probably always be indelibly etched on your mind. I remember once when I was at the Newaygo County Medical Care Facility, I heard that senior patients there with serious memory loss, especially for recent events in their lives, had an astonishingly clear memory of how they could recall their childhoods and their hometowns and their families and their friends. I hope all of you have had positive feelings about your community, because, for better or worse, they help shape your ideas and attitudes about life. Your memories are basically positive, and I hope one day you will motivate you to come back and give to the community something that you are a part of. Good communities do not come that way in a vacuum. They take concern, involvement, and nourishment from their residents. Even if some of your memories are not so affirmative about your hometown, I hope they will inspire you to take an active role in your chosen community. As you mature, if there are certain aspects of your neighborhood you would like to change, I hope you'll take that active role. Organize a citizens group, get neighborhood discussions going, and contact your local officials. And if that doesn't get you anywhere, run against them in the next election. And don't restrict yourself to a local office either. The state legislature is filled with first-time politicians who ran because they wanted to take a chance to make things better. You're looking at one right now. Instead of just complaining about things, I went after positions where I could have some input on the decisions that affect me, my family, and my community. I've been on a school board, county commissioner, public health department. I've served on zoning and planning commissions around this area. And my most recent challenge was running for the state legislature. I didn't do any of these things because of ego or lack of things to fill my time. I didn't do these things because I was the best educated in town, or the most experienced, or I had the most money. Believe me, I'm not the most educated, I'm not the best experienced, and I probably don't have as much money as some other people here in the audience. I went after them because I genuinely wanted to help people and be a big part of finding better solutions to bigger problems. All of you can do these things someday, because hopefully each of you have developed genuine good feelings and self-confidence about yourself and your capabilities. Speaking again as a former teenager, I understand the insecurities and self-doubts of the adolescent years. It isn't easy being a teenager. It takes a lot of inner struggling to find out who you are, independent of your family. It takes a lot of thought and research and planning to develop goals for your future. But as you finally emerge from these long, tumultuous years and leave to take your place in the real world, please remember that you have the support and blessing of your family and your community. I'm reminded of those 19th century ancestors, those incredibly brave pioneers who left safe homes and communities on the East Coast or in Europe to make the long trek westward to conquer new dangers and settle new, unknown territories. They no doubt were scared and somewhat anxious about what lay ahead of them. However, their excitement and determination to seek fortunes, explore new realms, and become their own masters overcame their fears and doubts. And it's a good thing for us that they did. So, God bless you as you head out into your unknown territories to seek your fortunes. Don't forget to write and come home often. Congratulations, and thank you for letting me share this day with you.
Thank you, Representative Llewellyn, for your words of insight to our class. We would ask at this time if you'd stand and join with us the singing of America the Beautiful, which is on the back side of your program. Would you stand, please, as the band accompanies us?
All right, here you go. America the Beautiful, start to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you, band. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 1993, Mark Violet. Mark?
I would like to again welcome the parents, relatives, students, board members, faculty, friends, and of course the class of 1993. As a young child, I was a fan of Dr. Seuss. He always seemed to write stories about the strangest things and made sense out of them. Now, Dr. Seuss, probably best known for his books Green Eggs and Ham or The Cat in the Hat, recently wrote a book about graduation entitled, Oh, the Places You'll Go. I'd like to share with you a few pages from this book. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look 'em over with care. About some you'll say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there things can happen and frequently do to people as brainy as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along, you'll start happening too. So be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai, Olive, and Alan O'Shea. You're off to great places, today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Last week I was cleaning, or rather organizing my room, when I came across some old school pictures hidden in a drawer full of papers. As I read the backs of these pictures, I noticed that they all contain the usual, you are a good friend, or have an awesome summer. But they also contained a little 93, or can't wait till 93, printed below the name. I found it interesting that even back then in 5th, 6th, and 7th grades, we had our eyes set upon this day, our 1993 graduation. But you know, it's amazing that such small, inanimate objects like pictures can bring back so many memories. But that's just what these pictures did. They sparked memories not just of school, but of life in general. And they also made me realize just how special and meaningful today is. Just 13 short years ago, we were reading Run, Dick, Run. But today we are reading books and plays like Macbeth, Gone with the Wind, and Grapes of Wrath. Show and tell time has turned into discussion between classes. Addition and subtraction have turned into derivatives, proofs, integrals, and graphs. Questions of asking to be driven to someone's house have now become asking to use a car for the weekend. Innocent games of soccer and basketball on the playgrounds have turned into tough, competitive, and sometimes disappointing sporting events. And instead of being provided for by others, we are beginning to provide for ourselves. Today we take another step up that ladder of life. It is a step of great length, a step that takes much effort, but a step that can be the most rewarding one we have taken. For that step represents a sense of freedom as well as a sense of timidness. Today represents the end of the world as we have known it for the past 13 years. Tomorrow we enter a new world, a world full of happiness as well as sadness, a world in which we must decide what is going to happen. Tomorrow we become part of the real world. For many of us, the real world may represent the pursuit of higher education, or it may represent the beginning of a lifelong career. As Guy Vanderjack told the graduating class of 1992, in 25 years, according to the national averages, we as a class will have purchased 460 automobiles and 175 houses. I'll bet 2 of us will be married, 1 of us will be a doctor, 1 of us a lawyer, 2 of us will be nurses, 3 of us teachers, 1 of us will be a millionaire, 1 of us will be a mayor, and 1 of us will be in jail. But he also added that these are only the national averages, and this class is far above average. And I tell you today that the class of 1993 is no exception. As someone once said, all life is taking what is given to you, doing something with it better than anyone else, and leaving a mark for others to follow so excellence can be recognized and maintained. So as you go into the real world, explore your mountain of opportunity, build on your high school experiences, and find out what life has in store for you. John Steinbeck says, a journey or adventure is a person in itself. No two are alike. But as you take this journey, also remember the words of a poem by Mother Teresa, entitled Words to Love By. She writes, "At the end of life, we will not be judged by how many diplomas we have received, how much money we have made, how many great things we have done. We will be judged by, I was hungry and you gave me to eat. I was naked and you clothed me. I was homeless and you took me in. It is our world, our life, our choice. We are standing on the edge of tomorrow. The future is ours." Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for your excellent address. At this time, it's our privilege to be entertained by our Fremont High School choir that will be singing A Whole New World, Miss Homeshire. Thank you, Mrs. Holmshire and Choir. It's my privilege at this time to introduce the Salutatorian of the class of 1993, Brian Hillary. Brian will be giving the Salutatorian address.
Thank you. Teachers, I just realized something. I think this will be a sure cure for you. You have students in your class and they start kind of dozing off in the back. They usually sit in the back row. Well, get them one of these hats right here. Make sure it has one of these tassels on it. And I'm sure that'll take care of all your problems. And in fact, if you use a fan, kind of blow that around, you'll have no problems whatsoever. I need all of your help to get started today. We were taught in school to work together, and I need your assistance now. If you notice, in the bleachers, those in the bleachers, there's a balloon there, red and white balloon, red and white balloon, red and white balloon. That imaginary line's going straight up from those, okay? So there's 4 sections in the bleachers. And down here, there's going to be there's 2 sections down here. Graduates, the band, you can help with us here. Graduates, choir, and teachers, please help with us here. Now, this is your assignment. Make sure you get this right now. Okay, first group here, graduates and band. You're going to need to put your hands together as if you're going to pray, and you need to rub them like this. Okay? Okay, remember that. Now, the next group, next section here, you're going to have to, you need to shh. Got that? That's what you're going to be doing. First group on this side, on that side of those balloons, you're going to be, what we're doing here is we're creating a rainstorm. We know it's nice and beautiful now, but we're going to be creating a rainstorm. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating the drops by snapping your fingers. Okay, can you do that for me? Okay. Next section, there'll be more rain. I need you to clap against your palms. All right. Next section, we have harder rain, and you're going to be slapping against your thighs. Okay, good, you got that. Next section is this is the real fun part here. You're going to stomp your feet, have real thunder, rain, and everything. We'll hear that. Okay, you got to make sure nice and loud. Okay. Now the way this is going to work, we'll start out down here. You'll be continuing. You continue with this until I tell you to stop again. You come over here, and then we'll start up here. Continue, continue, continue. And then once we get nice and loud, I'll point back. You'll stop. Then you'll stop, 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 and then we'll have our rainstorm. We'll have pass through. Okay? You ready? First session, rubbing hands. Next session, near the wind. Now the raindrops. More rain. Okay, we have harder rain. You guys got the best part. Thunder. Okay, first section stop. Next section. The next section. Here. Okay, now you need to blow that away from you. Blow that away and push that out. Push that out because this is a nice day. We don't want rain here. You know, I've always liked water, and I've always found it magical. It can bring new life or take it away depending on how much is used. Water is what could be put in all those squirt guns which were piled high in Mr. Phaser's desk last year. Water also has unique properties and characteristics just like you and I. Right now you're probably wondering, what on earth does water have to do with the graduation? I want you to think about that rainstorm we just created and to focus in on that first raindrops falling from the sky and dropping gently onto a mountainside. As these droplets gather, they form a trickle of water and travel down the slopes of a mountain. Gradually, those trickles meet each other, and a mountain stream is formed. This stream continues to grow bigger and bigger as it travels on. Eventually, the stream has come down from the mountain, but continues to rush on because it has gathered momentum, and now we call it a river. This river meets others and they all form one mighty current of energy. Soon this raging and roaring, powerful force rushes into the ocean and is free to go into any direction it chooses. If I go back now to that falling rain, we could hear the pitter-patter as it makes and splashes off of rocks or bounces off leaves. This pitter-patter is the same noise our tiny feet made when we had just learned how to walk, and eventually realized that running was much more fun. We grew just as the stream did. We grew in size and ability and in strength. Finally, it was time for a little trickle of water to meet with others, and we entered kindergarten. This was our first exposure to formal education and the beginning of a 12-year journey. As we continued through school, our stream got wider and we learned more and interacted with more people. These were the times that we learned what math was all about and found out what those scratches on a piece of paper could really create a world all of their own. Every once in a while, we hit rapids or bad spots along the way, but as we continued through those rough spots, eventually they smooth themselves out, like our stream as it rolled through a mountain valley. We had really tough decisions to make when we were younger, like what color should we color that cat or dog? Or even argued over whose turn was it to ride on the swing during recess? For many of us, there were those infamous bus trips to and from school. Unfortunately, the decisions we had to make didn't get any easier, but instead grew more difficult. As we entered high school, streams converged and a river was formed. It was time to meet new people and to start preparing for further education or employment. Junior high sports and extracurricular activities were terrific, but we found that programs in high school were more challenging and inclusive. We had a broad opportunity to take parts in programs like theater, the Newaygo Area Tech Center, Quiz Bowl, SAD, and FFA, or we continued in the band program, choir, sports, or joined other activities which were all part of our education. Our experiences continued to grow as a river feeding off of demanding classes, new relationships, or new endeavors. As we neared our senior year, our momentum continued to build, and we grew to a raging river, full of energy and rage, a rage of further growth and knowledge. This is now our graduation day, and we are that mighty river, ready to roar into the ocean. This is an ocean of new opportunity, new experiences, and even more people to touch our lives. We are able to go into all directions, take more responsibilities into our own hands. As we enter into this new surroundings, I challenge each and every one of you not to be the muddy bottom water, which turns over onto itself and repeats that same bad experience over and over again. But instead, be that clean and clear water, rushing with full force, flowing on top, outward to greater experiences. Be strong and bounce off those waves, or be able to pick yourself up if you're knocked down. Within a river, there are things like fish, rocks, logs, and other creatures with their own individual identities. It must be remembered that together, all of these coexist as one powerful unit, the river. The ocean is also made up of its own habitats and environments with millions of plants and other creatures. It's like a river, only bigger. No matter how similar or different these systems may be, it is important to note that all make up a huge body and they all work together as a whole. We must follow as humans and learn to grow, live, and love one another. We must learn to be like the river and the ocean and be one. I challenge you, the class of 1993, to be like the water that washes away the dirt, to leave us clean and fresh and looking young again. I wish for you to stay young at heart, like a child which cannot hurt anyone with words or actions. It is when we are young that we are closer to the truth than at any other time. We must choose to do right for ourselves and for others. And most importantly, as Milton Mayer says, we must use our hearts and not our heads of wisdom. I would like to take this time to thank all of our parents, family, friends, faculty and staff, administrators, school board members, and all of the people who have helped give us that little extra push toward this tremendous event. And graduating class of 1993, I think we all want to leave Fremont High School with a bang, with a colorful explosion of brilliance as fireworks reaching high for the sky. I need your help once again in thanking our community with what I call as the fireworks cheer. And the way we're going to do this. First graduating class, I need you to stand up for me. Okay. I'll go through it once and then you can call. We're going to take our match. We're going to light up a match. We're going to take it down here. We got a fireworks ready to shoot up. Okay? Bang! Ah. Okay? I need your help with this. Okay, ready? Here's our match. Bang! Ah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. And I'm surely glad we blew those storm clouds away. At this time, if you give us a couple minutes to set up, we'll have the presentation of our seniors. It's my privilege at this time on behalf of Fremont Public Schools to introduce the graduates of the class of 1993. Please join with us in this ceremony of dignity. I ask that you roll one. Stephen Bottom. Rebecca Gay Hickman. Brian Patrick Hillary. Randall Stephen Haynes. Ryan Thompson. Bobby D. Bond. Amy Lynn Ball. Joseph M. Bordeaux. Raymond G. Lott. Adam Michael Bowman. Thomas James Berger. Jack Larry Brinkman. David Lee Brooks. Ellen Marie Grubbs. Sarah Jean Luker. Jody Liston Fultz. Rachel Ann Bolton. Kristen Joy Bunce. Michael Buss. Joseph Lee Lee Calkins. Christopher James Casey. Angela Marie Klaus. William Charles Conley. Catherine Louise Collins. Adam Wayne Crowley. Jeffrey Scott Kirkland. Robert Whitney Daniels. Barbara Ann Dasty. Paloma M. Donovan. Gary P. Craig. Ryan Moose DeLong. Kimberly G. Dykeman. Brandon J. Dykeman. Robert Michael Dykeman. Amy Michelle Edner. Lisa Ann Eckler. Rebecca Joel Clark. Nancy Jane Fetterman. Lucas Charles Pfeiffer. Daniel James Fisher. Amy Jo Fitzpatrick. Isabel J. Fulton. Heather Lee Powell. Juliana Marie Friends. Joel Thomas Funk. Keith Allen Gill. Lori Leanne Gill. Daniel David Gingrich. Amy Sue Hable. Andrew Michael Hageman.
Let's go,
Neil Allen Hall. Kelly Jean Hanke. Carrie Jean Hathaway. Jennifer Teresa Hawes. Brett Jason Hendrick. Douglas Paul Herman II. Jenna Ray Hiller. Kevin E. Holmberg. Mary Kay Holmes. Robert Benjamin Horton. Andrew William Johnson. Joshua David Johnson. Karen Ann Johnson. Linda Lee Campbell. Robert K. Gibson. Michelle Ann Tampa. Barbara Lorraine Kavard. Scott Timothy Keesler. Brenda Jean Moon. Christy Lynn Quistro. John Peter Levine. Laura Lynn Less. Evan Christopher Wall. Charles Michael Long. Barbara Lee Lord. Ellen Marie Gall. Wendy Marie Lauren. Joseph Allen Lowe. Jared Lee Lauren. Christian K. Marshall. William Elgin Melton. Stacy Lynn Mayer. Randy K. Mott. Alicia Diane Moe. Jennifer Lynn Mooney. Michael Richard. Corey James Nelson. Aaron John Enos. Larry Wayne Overall. Jared Wesley Prince. Daniel Wayne Ryder. Mary Beth Rogers. Adam Kevin Reeves. David Monroe Richards. Pappy J. Richardson. Christopher Thomas Rogers. Tiffany Sue Gautier. Eric Wayne Roth. Cammy Lane Wozicki. Tyler John Reiner. Melissa Marie Charnay. Jason Daniel Slager. Heather Joe Smith. Russell Eugene Smith. Daniel Richard Stacy. Ryan John Stroshi. Ginger Sue Stroman. Kenneth Charles Stroman. Luke Williams Stroman. Matthew Eugene Sutton. Allison Marie Thatcher. Christian Harold Thompson. Christopher Jacob Thompson. Clint Thorne. Brett Robert Toppin. Craig Michael Toppin. Thor L. Benden. Brett Matthew Bender. Marianne Barber. Stephen Mark Bissing. Laverne Walker. Stephen Joseph Walker. Melissa May Wiley. Janelle Ann Liddy. Joy Lorraine Liddy. Todd Stewart Walcott. Benjamin Wilson. Jeremy Thomas Woodman. Here's David Wright. John Lee Young. Honorary graduates, exchange students, Karen Marie Bennett. Juliana Michelle. Anita Mason. Susanna Ertel. Rita Suzuki. Felix Fair. Oh, somebody dropped the purse. It's right over there. Lori Gill, you must come back for a re-photo afterwards. Now it's my privilege on behalf of Fremont Public Schools to ask the class of 1993 to arise and to announce to you, these are the graduates of the class of 1993. Congratulations.